Wonder if they were looking at my stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't look at somebody's stuff, and these people seem very nice, but I could have looked at my
You'd
stuff.
look a little bit. You wouldn't maybe open drawers, but
yeah, but I'd look on the walls, be like, you know, who are these people?
Yeah,
but they've already been in the house.
What were you doing when they were touring?
Oh, dude, I took the dogs, put them in my car, and sat in the park a mile away. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that they've listened to the podcast?
Well, they seem like.
Do they know they're inheriting a Sixers curse?
Early to mid 30s. Well, they saw the stuff on the walls. I would imagine, like I have, you know, career stuff, I have Ricky stuff on the walls of my office, or used to. So imagine they saw it. I would have Googled it. If it were me looking at somebody else's house, I would have been like, what is this? So imagine they Googled it, you know.
Man.
Maybe they're listening to this right now. Hey, guys.
That'd be funny.
Thanks for buying my house. Hope you didn't look at my stuff.
Anything you want to disclose right here on the pod?
About the house?
Yeah.
No, I've disclosed everything as per is law. So
which room have you taken the biggest shit?
I would say the powder room downstairs.
Okay. And they know that?
What's that?
They know that? That's on the paperwork?
There's nowhere on the paperwork to disclose such a thing.
Well, I'm sure there's an extra further notes session.
Well, now you're making me think I should go back and disclose some other things about, you know, ranking the shits I've had in our different bathrooms.
Yeah. Did the flooring in your house cause your dildo hip?
No, it's great flooring actually.
Okay.
Yeah, dildo hip due to other issues, not the flooring. It's great flooring now. It's real wood. We don't have real wood.
I'm gonna reach out to the new owners.
I'll give you their email. All right, let's go. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. Brought to you by LL Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged. Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process, 302-864-8643. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. And Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. 2 grams of sugar. We'll get to that in a moment. 100 calories and absolutely no bubbles. On the show today, a very interesting question from a listener about what we would choose looking back in time. It is one of the more interesting. I actually know exactly what Mike will pick and what I will pick, but we'll look at back. Also, so many entries to be sacrificed at the lottery party. We will get up to our 14. That is necessary. To 14? Well, I think we'll get almost there today.
Okay.
As long as you approve all these people.
Okay.
Talk a little NBA playoffs, and if we get to it, I've had this on the rundown for a while. Our situation versus all the other non-playoff teams.
Yeah.
Lottery party is sold out. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who bought tickets. And so I mentioned I've been saying Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka has 3 grams of sugar for, I don't know, as many years as they've been selling Surfside. And I got a text message from Clement the other day from Surfside, and he was like, by the way, it's 2 grams of sugar.
Wow.
I was like, wow. Now, first of all, amazing. 2 grams of sugar, only 100 calories, takes great, no bubbles. But I've been adding a gram of sugar to people's Surfside for years now.
Yeah.
So the good news is it's only 2 grams of sugar.
CJ, go back in and edit that out.
All of them.
Of every podcast.
All of them, yeah. Well, instead of editing it out, maybe I'll just replace it. So I'll have to do a new one for each one.
Every time.
Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka is the only canned cocktail you need. It's got real vodka in it. It's only got 2 grams of sugar. It's 100 calories. And it tastes awesome, you know? Not too sweet. So many of those canned cocktails, too sweet, right? You're like, ugh. Not Surfside. Goes down easy. Drink a bunch of them responsibly, of course. It does not have any bubbles at all. If you can't find it in your local place where you buy canned cocktails, well, just go to statesidevodka.com. You can buy it there. However, you must be 21. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Gaskin, who will disclose it if you don't disclose it yourself. That is one Mike Levin.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So before we get started on Sixer stuff, of which there is not very much, I feel like we do have some
Welcome
time.
back.
Yeah. I was talking to Ike and Jack the other day about when we were talking about the draft, and I was like, the last year, this was my first year doing this. I felt like we had other stuff to talk about right now. I was like, oh, right. The Sixers were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Which,
I got my 4th round NFL draft mock ready to go. So we're going to go team by team.
Yes. Yeah. Mike McShay over here. So just 2 things I need to get your thoughts on. First of all, you did mention NFL draft. Eagles take Jahad Campbell. Any thoughts? First round, Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama.
It is very nice to be the team that everybody goes, fuck, they got the guy. Like, it's nice to trust the front office and to have just won a Super Bowl and to just be like, honestly, whoever they picked, I was gonna feel good about. I don't care. Yeah. We just won a Super Bowl and I trust them. And the Eagles have earned the right for me to just be like a regular normie fan about. Just being like, we got the guy, top 10 on their board. Great.
Believe
Kicks
it.
ass.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
Must be true. Yeah.
Giants take Jackson Dart. Losers. Like, it's just so easy to just like, great. I don't care. I'm not going to read that far into it. I'm just going to be excited if he misses a couple games this season. Who cares? They're loaded. We're the best. It's awesome.
It is I find that is how everyone in Philly is and has been all offseason. As the Eagles lost all these guys, I'm on the air going, hey, they're losing all these guys. Everybody's like, we won the Super Bowl. It's probably right. If we let them go, it's probably right.
Who cares?
Yeah. I said the same thing about Jahad Campbell. I was like, don't you think it's a little weird that like everyone thought the injury was bad enough to let him get back to the end of the first round? Like, no, Howie did it again.
Howie did it again.
Right.
My buddy Tony said, the Eagles are the Celtics of the NFL. And it's a little bit just like, yeah, they're just a really good organization that just does things in a smart way and it works out. And here we are.
And then
Sirianni is a little bit of your boy. Why am I forgetting his name?
Joe Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla. Yeah.
Yes.
There's some freak shit happening with both of those guys.
Yeah, Sirianni is more like
a little normal. Yeah.
And yeah, like a lunatic. I feel like I could run into every day. Where like he's not from here, but he feels a little from here. Whereas Mazzulla is a total psychopath.
Yeah.
Who I
Needs to be
really
studied.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm jealous of Joe Mazzulla. Like I'm jealous that the Celtics have Joe Mazzulla. I would love to have Joe Mazzulla.
There's a lot of people that I think their eccentric personality is a put on.
Oh, do you think Mazzulla is a put on?
I don't. I don't think that can be taught.
Right.
I don't think that can be faked. I mean, the town every day.
Did you see the clip, by the way?
Screaming at Jason Tatum to get up.
Yeah.
Saying it was good to see Kristaps Porzingis' blood coming out of his head. It's just like, oh my God, dude, just a unique individual. Would be a great ECW guy if the times were different.
Well, did you see the clip of him? He was talking about, I think it was on a Barstool podcast. They were like, he was saying how he's going to see The Accountant 2 every off day they have. Yeah. They were like, are you excited? Because I guess he loves The Accountant, the first movie.
I think he might just love Ben Affleck.
And they were like, well, how many times are you going to see the second one? And he was legitimately going, every off day I have, I'll be seeing The Accountant 2.
It's hilarious, dude.
Psychopath. Now, less positive is the Phils. And, I'm wondering where you are Phillies wise. Like, are you ready to just give up on the year?
I'm not. I would say,
and I'm sorry to everyone who isn't a fan of these teams, but it's in
the air.
Yeah. Yep.
It's definitely frustrating. Baseball's a long season. I'm enjoying my little prospects that me and Jack Fritz talked about. So I'm getting a little kick out of that, and I'm staying relatively calm.
Ringthebellbook.com.
It is frustrating that they seem to. I've never seen hitting like theirs just disappear like collectively
all at once. Yeah,
all at once, as often as it does.
Yes.
It is when they're hot. They're hot. I mean, the numbers average out to be like about the same, or still to be positive, or whatever. But to be as good as they are, and then all of a sudden they just look completely incapable together. It's good unity, good team unity.
Yeah.
The fact that they could do it all at once while they're really on the same page. I would say I'm not done, but I'm certainly like getting frustrated. I think for whatever reason, the first month of a Phillies season, it takes me a little bit to lock in and remember that it's on.
Yep.
And the times are all different, especially out here. And so I was like, oh, they're on. And then I started to turn it on. It's like, they're down 3-0 to the Cubs. I'm like, I'm turning it off. Like,
there's no way they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. And I'm trying not to let it like get to me as much, but it'll come. It'll come for sure.
Yeah, for work, I have to watch them all. And that there is no worse feeling, I think. I think the worst feeling watching the Phillies is when you know exactly how Trey Turner or Nick Castellanos is going to strike out.
Yeah.
Like you just feel it coming, like as they're walking to the plate, and you're like, oh, this ball's going to be low and outside. It's going to be slider low and outside, and they're going to swing at it no matter how far low and outside it is. Yeah, and I agree. Their whole like thing where it all just happens at once. It's not like it doesn't feel like they take turns getting hot. They're either all hot or all not. And this year it's been
Bohm having no home runs this season is really just like for the Bohm haters.
Yes, well,
I'm pretty neutral on him. I would say I don't feel great either way.
Yeah.
But like 0 is 0. Like that is impressive. The team has 9 home runs outside of Schwarber and Harper. The team has 9 home runs in 26 games.
Well, they don't. Outside of Schwarber and Harper, there's not another guy who has more than 2.
It's just.
Well, and Bohm. But by the way, Bohm.
You would say accidentally that would happen.
Bohm, no home runs and 2 walks. They played really 24 games.
That's bleak. That's
somebody said, I tweeted about Bohm's and he's 6'5", 220 too, which also makes no home runs even more infuriating.
Yeah.
But I said
lift the damn ball.
How does this guy not have any home runs? And somebody was like, he only hits 15 a year or so. He's right on pace. And I was like, do you understand what pace means? What 0 times
I like on pace.
Any amount of home runs is? Yeah. 0 amount of home runs. 0 times, however, they could play 6 million games this season. He'd still be on pace for 0. Yeah. That's how pace works.
I think the team, once Ranger comes back, I think the team will get some much needed moxie back. He's just got so much juice.
Yeah, Ranger's got a lot of moxie.
I love Ranger.
And hopefully the Sanchez thing. Arm tightness is.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast, speaking of pace, is brought to you by LL Pavorsky Jewelers. I did get a correction, by the way, from LL about how many. Remember last time we were wondering
2 grams of sugar.
How many engagements he's up to? It's 443. So we want to.
Still feels low.
We got to get to 500. Somebody get engaged.
Yeah. Have we just hit max capacity of the fuckable members that listen to this podcast?
Well, then find the unfuckable members.
With the unfuckable members of the listeners really have to get married.
Well, they got to find each other. They
should find each other.
Yeah. 443 Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners have purchased engagement rings from LL, the sponsor of the VIP section of Live Ricky 6 and the Lottery Party. We're just working on our commemorative item, LL and all. It's a good one. It's a let's say this. It's an item that people have asked us to do for a while, and we haven't done. The reason you got to buy an engagement ring from Lee, if you're going to buy an engagement ring, is everything. It is the product is the best, the price is the best, but most of all, the most important thing is the process and the service is the best. You want to be relaxed when you're doing this. You don't want to be pressured. You don't want any stress. And LL, because he does everything one-on-one, and because you're a member of the Ricky community, you're going to get all those things, and you're going to get Ricky stuff for the rest of your life. The guy's is always coming to me for Ricky t-shirts and stuff that he can give his Ricky fans. So, but it really is. And that's why he wants everything to be appointment, because he wants it to be low pressure and all the attention on you. 215-627-2252 is his number to make an appointment to buy an engagement ring. You can email him, lee@llpavorsky.com. That store at 707 Walnut, almost been there 40 years now. I tweeted him at @llpavorsky, and Lee, a great gentleman, always supports our charitable efforts, which right now are focused on Providence Animal Center and Mama T's Community Fridge. LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
The most fuckable jeweler.
Okay. We got this email from Mark. I agree with that. Okay
is a funny response to that.
Yeah, well, I agree. I've seen a lot of jewelers in my life, and I'd fuck Lee before any of them.
That's it.
We got this question. I do want to talk about it, though I do know, I feel like I know how you're going to answer. But maybe I'm wrong. You're older and a little more washed now, so maybe you're a little more sentimental. We got this question from Mark, to Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. You have basketball question. You have spoken about how you may feel partially responsible for why the process has not been successful to date.
Yeah.
Let's say I gave you the opportunity to go back in time and undo everything you have ever done surrounding the podcast. That means undoing everything. The lottery parties, the partnerships with LL and others, the Fly the Process trips, the podcast themselves. In this scenario, Spike and Mike also never meet. In this exchange, you are guaranteed at least one Sixers NBA title. Would you do it?
Wow. The full alternate timeline.
Yeah.
In this world, the specifics of like the Sixers still happen. Maybe they just win the Kawhi
They win one year.
shot year.
Yeah, maybe they win that year. Any of the maybe the Celtics series, maybe they don't choke away game 6 and 7. But in this scenario, but like to his point, everything that has happened regarding podcast never happens.
It's tough because there's things in my life that I've gotten just sort of tangentially because of the podcast. Yeah. Me selling a show with Ben Simmons, being one of them, which is nice.
Yep.
But the championship, Embiid winning a championship, man, that's really hard. It's really hard. It's really toss-up-y. I also think the 10 plus years I've been talking about this shit, them winning one and me not getting to do this shit.
Yeah, do the podcast.
It would feel like, it would feel like a little bit at this point. But I guess in that scenario, I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't know that you were missing.
Wouldn't know that I was missing that.
Right.
I guess in a scenario where I wouldn't know I was missing it, I would take the championship.
Okay. I figured you would take. I would not take the championship.
But if I knew that I was missing it, then I might not.
Yeah, I just feel like this has been such the people around it. I just think about like the people. I mean,
how many people wouldn't have gotten married if it wasn't for us?
Well, but that's
responsible for children.
Partially true, I don't know how many people wouldn't have met. Forget about the friendships and relationships that like we have because of this, but how many friendships and relationships, or even like we got, and maybe they would have found something else. But we've gotten so many emails about like, hey, me and my brother, like we live across the country, but we talk about the pod every week. I don't know. To me, all of this has been more meaningful than the title would be great, but to me, like all this happening would make a title, like I don't know how great a title would feel great, but it wouldn't feel as great had not all of this stuff around us happened.
That's certainly true.
Yeah,
that's certainly true.
Yeah,
it would be.
It would feel great, but it would feel more like the Phillies or Eagles, which is great. But like this is, I don't know. I find supreme. Now, to your point, me not knowing any of these things would have happened.
Yes, you're men in blacking yourself
a little bit. Yeah, but I know it now.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, tricky. I mean, it sort of reinforces how singular of a feeling a Sixers championship in the next 5 years would feel.
It would be.
There's a very good chance that if the Sixers win a championship, and then like we go home for a parade, we do a podcast fucking at the parade or something, whatever. Yeah. There's a good chance that, and I know what I'm saying. There's a good chance that that's the best moment of my life.
Yes.
And that's not. It hasn't even happened yet. I'm speculating on.
It probably will never happen.
It probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And I feel good about the choices I've made in my life, but that being the best moment of my life is something that I'm like, that is probably what it is. Sixers winning a championship, this era, parade, podcast. What a world.
Yeah.
But would I be a healthier person in the other world? Probably. Sixers title, not having to feel responsible for this not working. Yeah. Probably healthier.
I wonder if B-Ball Paul ever gets to fucking play.
Wow.
I wonder if the Sixers match the $8 million. Think of wait a minute. Does Brian Colangelo draft Furkan Korkmaz in TLC if we're not begging him to?
Does Brian Colangelo get fired?
Well, I think I've said before, I believe that our annoying support of Hinkey's thing put more of a target on him and ultimately made it more likely that he would get fired.
Yeah. We definitely haven't helped the team. Definitely haven't helped.
So Mark also says, and this will get us to our next thing, non-basketball question. I do not have a ticket to the lottery party, and I'm therefore not eligible to be pelted with ping pong balls. However, my little brother energy is unmatched. I have two brothers. One is 7 years older. The other is 8. A few years ago, I brought my girlfriend, now wife, to my parents' house for dinner. My mother did the thing where she wanted to show baby photos to her. She brought up literally 3 or 4 giant plastic bins of family photos and pulled out reams of baby photos of both my brothers searching for one of me. This went on for close to an hour before she gave up and declared there weren't any. The other reason I'd be perfect for this is I'm from Canada, which is the ultimate little brother energy, particularly these days. Now, Mark doesn't have a ticket. Do we put him on the list? And if he wins the lottery, we give him a ticket?
I think so.
Okay, so Mark is on the list. So Mark is number 3. So we want to get to 14, and here's what I'm thinking. We get to 14, we give each of these people a number. We write them on, like I send you 15 ping pong balls. Mm-hmm. You write a number on each of them, and you draw the number. You draw the ping pong ball from, like, on the last podcast before the lottery party. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have another 3. By the way, lottery party and Live Ricky 6 is May 12th at Franklin Music Hall. Tickets are sold out. The ticket sales benefit Providence Animal Center, Mama T's Community Fridge. Of course, Gershon Yabusele will be there with us, working on some special guests as well. It'll be a great show. It'll be very interesting if they get the pick. It'll be even more interesting potentially if they don't get the pick. And it won't be live on YouTube, but we will release the show on YouTube thanks to Mortgage CS. So we have some more submissions here. I just want to make sure that you approve them. Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Lifelong Sixers fan from the Philly.
Wait, I like this one. Can I read this one?
Yeah, sure.
I like this one.
Okay.
All right. This is from Matt in Minnesota.
Right.
Lifelong Sixers fan from the Philly Burbs, now living in the Twin Cities. I got back into following the team inexplicably during the process heyday. I started tuning in this past September when Zach Lowe got laid off. Okay. And you guys have been my go-to pod ever since. I believe you were still doing August at that point. I remember jumping in the middle of the Ship of Theseus discourse and wondering, like, what in the world? He does a...
this is important.
A little... okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Theseus, allow me to remind you in that story, he was sent to Crete as a human sacrifice to the Minotaur, along with 13 others. That's right, for a total of 14. This would make Mike's suggestion... It wasn't my suggestion, it was Professor Jack, of 14 for the number of lottery teams that much more serendipitous. Okay. I will quickly add, this is my favorite part.
Yep.
He's a high school English teacher and have students read Shirley Jackson's story, The Lottery, every year. It's so brutal, I kind of hate it. But sadly, it continues to be relevant as ever, so it feels important. In the story, the justification for stoning all these people is tied to a vague superstition. Quote, lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. It's set in a small farming community. Sorry if that was already obvious, but yeah, this idea that stoning someone is going to lead to good luck, it's all right there. We're rigging it.
Yeah.
Matt, I got to agree with you, bud.
Yeah. So is he actually volunteering at this point, or is he just telling us? Because he's in Minnesota now.
For lottery context, I think.
Right. But he doesn't want to be one of the stoned.
No.
Right.
I think if you'd be leading with your little brother energy if that's the case.
And also, I thought it was funny. You always wonder about people who hop on now. Like, this guy hopped on 6 months ago. Started listening to us like 6 months ago.
Well, so he was there for a little bit, process heyday, left and came back.
Yes, but I don't think he was a Ricky person during process heyday.
Oh.
He says, I started tuning in this past September.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. He should be listening to the lower pod.
Yes. Go listen to the lower pod. Ricky X was at 2 years ago. Jesus Christ. That was 2 years ago?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Lower pod was 2 years ago. CJ?
Yeah, because...
CJ?
I'm looking.
Oh, no. You know what? Lore Pod wasn't. Ricky X was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Lore Pod was, I think, this past offseason.
Yes. I think you're right. This guy we got to let in.
I just want people to see CJ for a second.
What's that?
I just want people to see CJ.
Okay.
It was August 28th, 2024.
Yeah.
So
almost a year ago.
The rare right moment for me.
Yep. Now, this came from Mark. We have to let Mark in. I'm just saying he has to be approved. He's written like panicked emails 3 separate times about being stoned at the lottery party. Hit with stones, not stoned. From Mark. Hello again. I would love to be entered into the lottery party. Here's my case. I did not mention this in my original email, but since it's the Battle of Little Brothers, I think it's pertinent. As I mentioned, I too am a piece of shit younger brother. When I was in middle school, my brother held my face against our tiled kitchen floor after I stole his Iverson jersey to look cool in front of my friends. So I reached for a knife on the counter and gave him a good poke in the hip. He was fine, bleeding some, but mostly just shocked that I stabbed him. I also hit him in the head with the point of an iron after he wouldn't let go of giving me a full Nelson when I genuinely thought both of my arms were going to pop out of their sockets. He was no angel. He used to sell me 12 packs of Natty Ice in high school for like $40. Yeah, we were kind of mean and out of our minds, but we were also best friends. The main reason why the aforementioned Kawhi shot is the most painful sports watching experience of my life, outside of the obvious reasons, was that my older brother, who is also a diehard Sixers fan, passed away a month before that game at 35.
So sad.
Yes, I watched that game with so much pain and deep investment that I thought the Sixers winning was a weird way to set the universe right when things were so wrong. I sat with my dad, and after I saw the ball bounce in, it broke us.
Oh
it's
my God.
impossible to think about that game without surfacing those emotions tied to it.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. I first discovered the Ricky about 6 months after that. Obviously, I'm a psycho for listening to every single pod since then, but more than that, when Mike goes on his hilariously crazy rants or Spike mumbles expletives every time Rebel barks in the background, I often think, man, my brother would have fucking loved you guys. It's an insane thing, but I have genuine sadness sometimes knowing how cool it would have been to text him saying, have you listened to the latest Ricky? He's got to be in.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got to be in.
Sure.
Mike.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So that is, what number is that? That is 4? We have 4. Okay. From Andy Levin, not related to Mike.
No.
Okay, here goes. My older brother got me started listening to the Ricky many years ago. We are 2 longtime Ricky guys and have pictures with Covington, B-Ball Paul, Mike, and Rebel to prove it. Last thing, I'm 99% sure I have in my basement a ping pong ball with Sam Hickey's face on it, and we could have my brother throw it at me like a ceremonial first pitch.
I think he's in. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the last pitch.
No, everybody's hitting you at, like, we're picking that, not you. This is from Ed, who actually seems like a real piece of shit. I'd like to throw my little brother spinny propeller hat into the ring. I'm 40, but I talk a lot and have a smile most people want to throw things at.
Wow.
All of my friends started hating me until I won them over with my unrelenting bad jokes. Hitting me with ping pong balls will be therapeutic. I'll see you Monday either way.
Wow, this is a real little brother convention we're about to hold.
Yep. Ed in?
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more. But we will get to it right after we talk about Adam Ksebe.
What a tease.
The official realtor of the process. Look, I've said before, it's a tough time, Mike, to buy a house. It's a tough time. It's a tough time. There's not a lot of houses out there. Very competitive. You have to know how to bid. And when you're going to buy a home at the Delaware beaches, where it's even more competitive, you need somebody in your corner. Adam Ksebe, Ksebe, the official realtor of the process. He is, I like this about like all of our partners. He's like kind of obsessed with being the best at this. So he is the guy you want in your corner. His team is based out of Long and Foster in Bethany Beach, and he covers all of Delaware, covers all of Maryland, but the Delaware beaches is where he excels. And if you've tried to buy a shore home, Jersey or Delaware, and I would opt for Delaware, anytime recently, you would realize it's just fucking crazy. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. You need somebody who knows the landscape, help you bid the right way, help you pick the right areas, whether it's Rehoboth or Lewis or Bethany or fucking Dewey, wherever it is, Ksebe is your guy. Also, if you want to buy a house in PA or Jersey or New York or wherever, he cannot do that specifically for you, but he can be your first call, because what he'll do is learn more about what you need. He will go through his Rolodex of realtors, find the right person for you. He'll even interview them before he even sends them to you. So he's your guy. Again, Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process. You want to get in touch with him? Just send him a text. You can text him right now. See what he's doing. 302-864-8643 or email him adam@processrealtor.com. That is adam@processrealtor.com. So finally, this comes from Gustavo, who is actually offering up someone else. Hello, I would like to submit my young brother-in-law as a nominee to be sacrificed.
Submitting.
Yes, this will be both of our first lottery parties, and he has already expressed an interest in being the sacrifice. His name is Joey D'Annunzio, and he's still in college, so very little brother energy. I'd also like to say Joey D'Annunzio is a little brother name. He also matches Mike's psychoticness in his fandom and hatred for the Sixers. I'm driving up from Virginia for the lottery party. Would love to have him accepted as one of the applicants. If you need to vet his little brotherness, I would be happy to put his sister, my wife, on the line, and she will vouch for his nomination.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
Yes.
That's good enough for me.
Yes. So Joey D'Annunzio is in there. By the way, everybody here will get an email. We'll send you a note. And I think I'm trying to figure out when that'll be. It'll be probably the weekend before the lottery party will be our last pod before. So it'll probably be like that Saturday morning. The playoffs go on without us, Mike, as we found out this year. We haven't had to do that in a long time.
It's so nice though.
Oh.
Alyssa turned to me the other day and was like, I'm so happy that there aren't any Sixers playoff games. It's a really nice break. I'm really enjoying it. I really am. It was a bad year, but I hope that you're feeling the relief. There's not any toxicity in the air.
Well, yeah, and you could do one of two things. You could do what you're doing, as enjoying the NBA playoffs without the Sixers pressure, or you could just be like, I'm going to go do other stuff. Like, I'm going to watch baseball. Like, you don't want to watch the NBA playoffs? Don't watch the fucking NBA playoffs. Doesn't matter. You know, you don't have to be locked in. So the Wolves, this game was too late. I didn't see it. I went to sleep after the fucking draft ended. Wolves take a 2-1 lead over the Lakers. You think the Wolves are going to win that?
I think they might.
It feels like they are.
I hope it goes 7. It's been a good series. I mean, Ant looks great. LeBron played well last night. Luka had like a what do they call it? Like a stomach bug that he was getting over all day.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lakers just are not like a full complete team. Like watching Dorian Finney-Smith try to out rebound Rudy Gobert is a tough proposition for him. So they're just a little light there. But I mean, it'd be
a quick Gobert thing, by the way. Don't you think it's funny that Rudy Gobert won like 4 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards, and now people vote for Defensive Player of the Year, and he got 1 third place vote. He was like, there's no way he's that much worse than he was.
No.
3 years ago. Like, it's just so weird. There's so much what's the word, like nemesis in like voting and what people think of things. It's just wild that everybody thought Rudy Gobert was the best defensive player in the NBA for half a decade, and now everybody's like, well, actually not that good. And the game hasn't changed that much since.
No, I mean, so much of it is about narrative. It's just so much, and it's, you get tired of it, and that's why people being like, you know, it has to be Jokic because he's just the best player. It's like, well, we're not. That doesn't apply like to any other thing.
Yes,
it's whatever. But I mean, Minnesota, like having Jaden McDaniels having the series he's having is just like massive.
Yeah.
It's a real step forward for a guy that usually is pretty, lacks aggressiveness or has historically. And the fact that he dropped 30 last night, that's unbelievable. I thought Julius Randle has been really like reining in his Julius Randle-ness to just be effective in the way that he's effective.
Which I give him credit for, because I didn't think it was possible for Julius Randle to rein in his Julius Randle-ness, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think the Lakers could still come back and rip 3 in a row because they just have, they probably still have the 2 of the 3 best players at least.
I wonder what they do. Like, let's say they get eliminated here, just in terms of, they'll obviously be better next year. Well, at some point, LeBron's like effectiveness because of age will, I mean, it's already dipping, but it will dip more.
Sure.
But like, I wonder how they even, when you talk about the construction of the team around them, I wonder how they even pivot at this point, right? Like with salary limitations and pick limitations and all that stuff. Like, I
wonder what you could get for Austin Reeves. I think they like him very much. I think he's a good player, but is there some like
maybe you get a center and a shooter out of Austin?
It'd be better to have probably someone who can defend a little bit more next to him. But Austin Reeves is a good player, dude. He's really good, and I would kind of like to see him on a team where he's a little bit more focal pointy. But he plays great.
And then the other one that feels like it, Celtics lost a game, but they'll win that series. Bucks won a game, but the Pacers, I assume, will win that series.
Gary Trent had 37.
I love Gary Trent.
37. Dame was 2 for 12 and had 7 points. Gary Trent had 37.
It is funny to see Bucks fans just fucking. the cycle with Doc is always the same. The cycle with Doc is, everybody before us was wrong about this guy, and Bucks fans fucking hate Doc Rivers now, which is funny.
Which we did. Every team does that with everybody, I think. Where
yes.
you just get tired of somebody and you're like, I don't understand. Like, we did it with Paul George in some specs. Obviously, this was the worst season of his career, so it was especially bad. But yeah, it's sort of that's. You really don't know a player intimately until you're rooting for them to succeed.
Yes, same with coaches.
Yeah.
Rockets Warriors still at 1-1, right? But Jimmy Butler potentially, I think he's questionable for Game 3.
Yeah.
I kind of want the Rockets to win. I kind of enjoy the idea of a younger team that is sort of different. You watch them. I don't feel like I'm watching the other teams in the NBA. Maybe it's because of what's the big guy? Şengün. It's like their offense doesn't seem as much drive and kick and pick and roll to death. I don't know. I feel like I'm watching something a little bit different than I'm watching other teams in the NBA. So I hope they win.
Yeah, how good the Warriors have been with Jimmy has just been really unique, and I think they also play differently. So I'm excited.
You're right.
I'm excited about that.
You're right.
I think it's just a good series. I kind of just want Denver Clippers, which has been a great series, and Warriors Rockets to go 7. That would be really cool. Lakers Wolves as well. I just look, the Magic obviously
they're not going to
win.
Yeah.
They won the game last night, 8 of 32 from 3. It is, look, I was pressuring them, hounding them to trade for Eric Gordon at the trade deadline. That wouldn't have made the difference, but it is insane to be like, they're not on year 1 of this thing, and they just decided not to acquire any shooting whatsoever at the deadline. And I just am blown away by that. As there's guys in their team young guys that are like wasting years of their rookie contract, not playing, not in the rotation. And it's just like, what are you guys doing? What are you keeping your powder dry for? Corey Joseph is starting playoff games for them. Corey Joseph is starting playoff games for them. And
we talked about Corey Joseph being a potential Sixer a bunch of times, didn't we? As a backup point guard.
Never been a Corey Joseph guy.
Oh, okay.
And especially now, it's just like, truly, what is he? It's just 28 minutes in the playoffs, and they won. I mean, it just blows me away. And I do think that even though Jalen Suggs is not a great shooter, I do think that I would have put some money on Orlando as I think they have a shot if Jalen Suggs had been healthy in this thing. They probably wouldn't have been the 7th seed, but they really missed that kind of, get into the paint, physical on both ends. Really would have made a difference. But I'm glad they won a game. Really glad they won a game. Happy for them.
This is only sort of related in that it's about another team other than the Sixers. And it'll probably make you throw up in your mouth a little bit. And I think you'll probably just say no right away.
Okay.
But if the Kings called you and said, you know what? We'll just give you Sabonis for Embiid. What would you do?
That's interesting.
Because Sabonis, just to frame it for everybody, I think we would all say that we don't think Sabonis is like, he's sort of he's the good regular season guy, and then the way that he plays doesn't quite work in the playoffs, but he needs to be, more involved to be the best version of himself. But so you're almost saying, I think there's not a chance that we'll win a championship, but also he's good and he'll be there, and you're getting off of the Embiid thing. And I don't know, maybe, if you build the right team around him. So, and it seems like something the Kings, trading for Embiid seems like something the Kings would do, even given the current circumstance.
It's really interesting. It's really, really hard to know without, I guess the Sixers don't have a hard and fast answer. They feel good about Embiid going forward.
Well,
they are on an island with that, but they feel like there's no reason to think why he wouldn't, bounce back and his knee won't heal, and that's what it's supposed to do, and that kind of thing. Not a doctor. I don't know. If you told me that the next 5 years it was more likely that those years are like this past one, then obviously you make that trade. But the upside of Embiid, I think Daryl wouldn't, is what I would say. I think Daryl would say no, the upside
I think Daryl
is still whatever.
I think Daryl wouldn't.
Sabonis is signed to a smaller contract. He's signed for one less year.
He plays.
He plays, which is important. I think especially like if they get the number 1 pick and you get Cooper Flagg, then you probably
do it.
You probably do it and go, yeah, Maxi McCain, PG, Flagg, Sabonis.
So if they called you right now, you were the GM of the Sixers, and they made you the offer, and they're like 1 day only. You have to accept the offer today.
I probably don't do it. Maybe that's me being
sentimental,
somewhat sentimental and overly hopeful about the idea that, because it's also like Maxi McCain, Sabonis. That's 3 average to below average defenders that you have to like scheme around. Your defense is never going to be good, so it's not like it's a perfect fit. If
Right.
it was a perfect fit, if it was a perfect fit and it was just like a lower upside.
Well, you're
then I
basically
could
just
convince
making
myself.
yourself the Kings in a lot of ways.
For sure.
A good team, win 47 games or something, never have a chance to win a championship.
And I would say I like Sabonis more than most. I really like his physicality. I love that he's like a total bruiser. He's a really
He
good
shoots
passer.
threes a little bit now
He's
too.
become a better shooter from 3.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could do it. I think I'm going down with the ship still, I guess.
There he is, Dido. With no white flag upon his door.
Nope. Me and Dido.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. When the people were going through the final walkthrough in my house today, when we showed the house, you get rid of everything that's just like sitting on the floor. But I was cleaning up a little bit. I saw the Big Barkers in the bedroom next to our bed, and I was like, you know what? I want them to see the Big Barkers. I want them to know that we care about our dogs here. I was about to say our address, but I'm not going to say our address. If you care about your dog and you love your dog, you get your dog a Big Barker. It's just
Let me guess it.
It's like, that's it. It's just like, if you care about your dog, you love your dog, you want your dog to be healthy, you want your dog to feel good. If your dog's young, you want your dog to feel springy and active for the rest of its years, you put that dog in a Big Barker. If your dog is older, getting a little creaky, and you've been ignoring it by putting it on one of those shitty beds that you got to replace every year, that the foam's coming out the side, then you got to get your dog a Big Barker. BigBarker.com/Ricky. BigBarker.com/Ricky. You get 2 Process Pup patches, black and white one, red, white, and blue one. You get a bunch of stickers. But most importantly, your dog is now sleeping on a bed, a real bed, a bed that supports his joints, a bed proven by Penn Vet to actually make a difference in your dog's health. Reduction in pain severity, improvement in joint function, all those things. You got to get your dog a Big Barker. And I want you to know, you're hearing big, big, big. And yes, it's true that bigger dogs develop arthritis more often than smaller dogs do. But that doesn't mean the Big Barker is just for the big dogs. No. You got a tiny little 14-pound fucking pocketbook dog or whatever, you get him Barker Jr. You got a big, giant fucking Mastiff, it's 160 pounds, you get him an XL Big Barker. They come in all different colors. They come in all different configurations. But the one thing they all do is keep your dog healthier and happier. There's a 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. There's a 1-year at-home trial. If you don't like it, they'll fucking return it. They'll even pay for the shipping. It's handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds. All right. We got an email from Jim. Writes RickySanchez@gmail.com. Hey, Spike, Mike, and CJ. I thought the preseason over-under on What the Fuck moments. I thought about that preseason over-under on What the Fuck moments, and then thought about how we quickly hit the over was a perfect harbinger of how shitty this season would be. It's true. I propose
Arguably, the Embiid shoving Marcus Hayes had like several What the Fuck moments.
Oh yeah,
within one.
We hit the over, which was 2.5 before they even played a game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I propose introducing an off-season What the Fuck over under. Since the season ended early, I count Joel undergoing arthroscopic surgery after all the talk about fixing his knee as the first What the Fuck moment.
I disagree.
And Spike, I appreciate and believe all that you've said about his prognosis, but it's still a What the Fuck moment. I don't think so.
No.
They were bound to do something.
Something, yeah. That's like the least invasive something they could do.
So I'm going to set the over-under. I'm going to be bold here and optimistic. And we're not counting that as a What the Fuck moment. No. I am making the over-under for off-season Sixers What the Fuck moments at fucking 1.5.
I think nothing with the lottery could involve that. Whether
No, if they get the number
whether they get
one,
or
no.
drop to 7.
No. Now they get 1, they trade it for fucking
Yeah, then that would count.
yeah. But I think they are poised for a under the radar fucking like just very quiet,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, Andre Drummond picking up his option. Andre Drummond declining his option might be a what the fuck moment in a good way.
It's
but
not
I
a
don't
what the
think
fuck moment, I
No,
don't
no.
think. Yeah, it doesn't qualify. Them
No.
signing Andre Drummond to a 3-year extension,
Sure. Yeah,
that would be a what the fuck moment.
No, I think you're right. There's limited things that they could do, although things could happen rather than moves that they make. That would include that, like, Embiid does something crazy at a concert,
Yes.
any sort of number of things could
Joel,
happen.
please
It's a
don't
long-
do anything crazy.
It's a long off season. It is the longest off season that we've had
in a very long time.
in a very long time.
Yeah. Man, they really need to get that fucking pick.
They do, right?
They need to get the pick.
That being said, they do have the 35th pick in the second round, which they didn't have going into the season, and they got in the Quentin Grimes Caleb Martin trade, and then they were bad enough to make that pick go to 35, which is basically a late first round pick. So I'm excited about that, and I will hold on to that no matter what. But the reality of the fact that they could drop, they really, really could drop, and not in the
get
pick
it
at all. And we could be at the lottery party and do a whole explainer where we're basically saying, like, hey, if Mark Tatum takes out an envelope and it says it has the Thunder logo on it, we're fucked.
Yep.
And then that happens.
Oh, will it have the Thunder logo on it in
It
that
would have the
case?
Thunder logo, yeah.
Oh my God, that would be so crushing.
Yes. So the basic rule of the lottery party is just if you see the Thunder logo, we're fucked.
Oh.
Cheer for pretty much anything that isn't the Thunder logo.
CJ, pop up for a sec.
Here he is.
You think we're going to get the pick?
Wow.
I don't want to jinx it. I am feeling optimistic.
Wow.
Okay.
I
It's-
think we're going to get it.
There's 3 options that pop into my head. One, some days I feel like we're getting the number 1 pick. Some days I think we're getting the number 4 pick. And then some days I don't think we're getting the pick at all.
CJ,
Yeah, bro.
when we brought you onto this podcast, wasn't rigging the lottery part of the responsibilities that
Yeah,
we
we
asked
pay you
for?
fine. Could you
I
rig
think
it?
so. I'll have to look back at our original email thread, but I think that was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
CJ and the Watergate burglars coming into the lottery party headquarters to figure it out.
Yeah. It's part of my prophecy. I'll
That'd be
fulfill
good.
that.
That'd be good.
You taking the over under?
On what the fuck moments?
Well, yeah, I'll ask you while you're here.
Under, probably.
Okay. Under 1.5?
I'm
And
going
like-
over this time, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be fooled again.
For
Yeah.
the off season, like what else could I mean? I guess we've asked this question before.
Go
What else
ahead.
could happen?
Yeah, go ahead, CJ.
What else could happen?
Yeah, what else could possibly happen?
I'm taking the under.
Yeah. Okay. Here is, and then I think I have a good segment after this one, but I wonder what Mike thinks of this email from Andrew. Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Spike, Mike, CJ, and Daryl. First time, long time. Stop watching the games after the Celtics playoff series. Listen to every pod.
Wow. I would like to know how many people do that. Do not watch the games. Do listen to the pod.
It feels like a good number, actually, like a solid number, actually. With the sooner than expected offseason, I want to propose a show topic during the doldrums. I am keen on learning more of your professional industries, trajectories, and insights. During the Eagles run this past fall, my dad, with whom I grew up with listening to WIP in the car with, let me know that there were new podcasts available of the station shows. I checked into Spike's afternoon show, and my reaction was, oh, listen to my guy doing his job. This is a compliment. I'm confident that you've had similar experiences when you find yourself. What's that?
That's just a very funny thing to say. Listen to my
Yes.
guy doing his job. Just
Doing
like
his job.
showing up at like a Walgreens and being
Right.
like, oh, look at my guy doing his job.
Right. Yes.
Funny taunt.
This is a compliment. I'm confident you have had a similar experience when you find yourself in your friend's professional environment. It is them, just slightly heightened. Perhaps the word is just professional. Now, we are not friends, but the truth is when each of you have experienced professional successes over the last decade plus, the WFAN gig, Young Rock, I felt a sense of happiness and pride for you both. That feels funny to admit, and also feeling positive about other people's success, even if they're strangers, is a trait that if more possessed, we would all be better off. Anyway, listening to Spike on WIP got me to thinking I'm curious about his professional world, the show's structure. I also hold similar wonders about Mike and his successful career as a comedy writer, especially having lived in East LA for 4 years myself. So I propose an industry where you each share your takes about your chosen professions, a bit of a My Industry AMA, if you would. I am sure other sickos have wonders. Below are just a few I would ask if we were at JB's enjoying a Kensinger. Thanks for the company on long dog walks, laundry, and long car rides over the years. Since you're asking about your professional lives, this is mine. Feel free to wing any questions my way. I looked him up on LinkedIn. He is a...
he attached his LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, I think that was the link. He works at University of San Diego. He's a... I didn't put his title in here, but he does... It looks like he has a doctorate in education. So seems like a smart guy.
Senior Director for the Center of Social Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
There you go. There you go. What do you think?
Sure, we could do an AMA about our jobs, our careers in one of the Augusts.
Yeah, sure.
July or August or September.
Why not?
Sure.
Right? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got nothing to talk about. Well, we'll have stuff to talk about in a little bit, but we have a lot of podcasts to do. So
big time.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of The Process. Here's what I want to tell you. So Kornblau and Kornblau, personal injury law firm, Delaware Valley, been there 40 years. The best, the premier boutique personal injury law firm. And like, I was saying before about Ksebe, this sort of obsession about their profession, Kornblau shares that. So you're getting a fucking bulldog, but a bulldog who's going to be really kind to you and truly an animal against whoever you are suing for whatever your personal injury is. But I would tell you this, I've learned this about Kornblau. While he primarily is a personal injury lawyer, he really just likes things that challenge him. So he has told me about different cases he's taken on of Ricky listeners that either he just provides advice or he takes the case. And what I would tell you is if you do not have a lawyer, whatever you need, I would reach out to him first, because if he can help you, he will lead you in the right direction to the person who can. But if he can help you, you're getting a lunatic in a good way. So from a personal injury perspective, medical malpractice, that's their specialty. But if it's medical malpractice, slip and fall, injured at work, car accident, whatever it is, if you're hurt and you believe it is somebody else's fault, like, don't be a hero. Reach out to Kornblau. It doesn't cost you anything, zero, until, of course, he gets you something. Then he gets something, but he doesn't get anything just for talking to you. So if you think you might have a case, give him a call or shoot him an email. It doesn't cost you anything. 215-576-7200, ask for Adam. Or email Kornblau, that's KORNBLAU, at kornblauandkornblau.com. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official realtor of The Process. Now, we might not have time to do all of this, but I want to throw the non-playoff teams in the NBA at you and ask you whether you think they have a better current situation than the Philadelphia 76ers do.
Yeah, this is. I think this is where I get ridiculed.
Because you take the Sixers over a lot of these situations.
My answer is everybody but the Spurs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, can we go through them?
Let's do it.
Okay. Wizards, I think, is a pretty easy one. Alex Sarr is good, but they've bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wizards is a pretty easy one because you're sort of confident that'll never be good.
Yeah.
The Hornets, I would assume so. Yeah. I don't really believe in LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo's fun to watch and unique, and kids love him, but he hasn't played real basketball. Whatever he's doing is not playing like winning basketball, like with the intent of playing like a real NBA season.
He truly feels like the most Gen Z NBA player.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? All right. The Nets.
Who do they got? They got nobody.
No,
everybody is like a temp player for now.
Yeah, no, they have more cap space than anybody. They have a ton of picks, and I think their general manager is relatively smart. Like, I think Sean Marks is a pretty smart guy.
Okay.
And they do have a ton of picks.
Sure.
Can you believe the fucking Knicks traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, pretty wild.
In retrospect, pretty wild.
The Luka trade.
Yes, where they got 1 first-round pick.
Yeah.
The Raptors?
I mean, they're such a ceiling on what they're doing. You got Quickly. I would take Max. I like Quickly, but I would take Maxey over him and maybe McCain.
Yeah.
Ingram and Barrett are like not a good fit, and also like the kind of they're just trying to be that tops out at the Bulls, tops out at like the Kings.
Yep.
I just can't see that team ever actually. I like Jakob Poeltl, but again, like he helped them win games when they should have lost them. And Scotty Barnes is good, but you know.
By the way,
if you told me he made 2 All-Star games in his career, I'd probably be like, oh, okay, sure.
Yes, he feels like he could have a very Drew Holiday level career. Different players, obviously, but
he's going to be really good when he's on like.
He's the third best player.
When he
on
does
team.
the thing that Drew did, well, like he goes to the Celtics and elevates.
Or Aaron
them.
Gordon.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of I think Aaron Gordon and Drew Holiday sort of same level. I think Drew's better, but same level player.
Yeah.
And by the way, at what point does Masai Ujiri like?
Yeah.
At what point does everybody assumes he's a good general manager? What is he doing?
It's been years of like very, very confusing stuff.
The Brandon Ingram thing, super weird. Like who believes in Brandon? Whatever.
I mean, getting him for almost nothing is like whatever, but it's just like where
but then you
it
just
feels
gotta
like
pay
it's been coalescing around. Yeah, they've been paying a lot of players, and it's like to what end really? I will say like all of these teams, whichever of these teams gets like Cooper Flagg and maybe Dylan Harper, then that changes things. But for right now, that's where I'm at.
Okay. The Bulls.
Sure. Where we? Yeah. There's like. They're just bashing their head on the 8 seed. Like can't go higher than that.
This year, it feels like they have a bunch of young players.
I guess.
Doesn't
I mean,
it?
some guys got better, but like you know, they're gonna have to make a decision on Vooch. What are they gonna?
Well, let's say Vooch goes. They have.
They're paying Patrick Williams a bunch of money. He's not very good.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey improved, but
I think I just love Buzelis, and I love
Buzelis good. Yeah.
Who's the other guard they have?
Kobe White.
Kobe White. I love both guys.
Yeah, they're good. They're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And how much do you pay Kobe White when he's like your best player of a 9 seed?
They don't have the Embiid contract and the Paul George contract though.
Sure.
Okay. Hawks.
I think there's a better chance that Embiid and Paul George are way more useful than those other guys become like top 20 players.
Okay. Hawks.
I mean, I like some of their players. I think Ricochet had a nice year. But they've been in neutral or reverse since they beat the Sixers in 21. They've been going really nowhere at all.
The Jazz.
I mean, another like collection of parts. I don't think they have
a lot of picks.
Yeah,
a lot of picks.
But they keep drafting like fine players, and you to have like the one. Well, who would you take? Who on the Jazz would you take over like Maxey and McCain?
Current players, well, probably nobody. I guess I would put Larry Markkinen. I really like McCain. I would say Maxey and Markkinen.
Sure. Yeah,
same level.
That's fine.
Same level, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of winning on another, you put them on a good team. They both have,
guys I like.
Yeah.
I like Collier. I like Sensabaugh. Keontae George is interesting. Cody Williams and Taylor Hendricks are very raw, but maybe they'll play and be interesting. Filipowski seems fine. Walker Kessler's fine, but like it's a lot of fine. There's a lot of fine. They're still like really, really searching for even their second best player.
Next pod or a pod coming up, we'll do this with actual playoff teams too. Because actually, you know what I find? I agree with you more than I thought I would in this section when you go through it. Pelicans, obviously, disaster. By the way, how does it take that long to of course, the Pelicans, the one team you fucking like.
No, I mean, look, DeJounte, who knows? Trey Murphy is awesome, and I do think like having a team around him could be interesting. I think he could be the second best player on a legitimately good team, the amount of improvement he's shown. And there's other guys that they have that I like. I love Herb Jones, obviously. That's such a me type of player. Man, the sick fucking me is like Zion is he's too enticing. Someone should trade for Zion.
On.
I don't think it necessarily should be the Sixers, but someone should trade for Zion. And just get him out of New Orleans, get him in a new situation, and see if
place
they can
with
like
worse
make it work.
food. Place
Just
with
like
worse.
he's so special in such a unique way, and I would just love to see him
Seems
in like a
loser,
better
though.
organization. Yeah, and like there's nothing that he has. Yeah, he's on the LaMelo level of kind of like, what are you actually doing to contribute to winning? How serious are you taking this kind of thing?
Hold on, where was I?
I would love to see Zion on a different team.
Spurs. Okay.
Yeah.
Defer. Yeah.
Spurs, you say?
Blazers.
I would rather be the Spurs.
Blazers have some fun young guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shaden Sharp's awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. I mean, Scoot had a really good, back half of the season. Klingon's going to be solid. Avdia is a solid plus player. If they can get Jeremy Grant out of there, I mean, it's kind of like why is Ayton, Grant, and Simons, why are they all going to be there next year?
Right.
I don't really understand that. But they gelled towards the end of the season. I like Tumani Kamara a lot, also a me type of player. Yeah, we'll see if they end up getting somebody in the draft lottery, like, I mean, I guess a Cooper Flag, or if they say they get like the 2nd to 5th pick and they can package that with somebody and get somebody great and they can jump a little bit. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I don't know who I see like a collection of interesting parts, but I don't see the vision for when they tore down the Blazers with Dame and CJ.
Right.
Like where are we going? I still don't see it yet.
Suns is a no.
Suns is a big no.
Mavericks is a no. And
Mavericks
Kings
is a huge no. And Kings is a no.
Yeah. Wow. I'm actually I'm surprised.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Sixers are like, this was the worst season ever.
Yeah.
But once you get the taste of it out of your mouth, I do think you can go like, okay, that's gone. The pick needs to convey. And then you can go, okay, now looking forward, there's still like a lot of positivity.
Yeah.
I think so.
I feel a little bit better.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I feel a little bit better. I think I was going to feel better after that. I wouldn't have predicted that when I wrote it down. There we go. All right.
And we can do with playoff teams after the playoffs. I think that would be interesting.
Real quick plug at the lottery party. We always in Live Rickies. We always do the Eliza Hardy Jones wrote the Process Imagine, which she's only performed once. We've always had it performed by others. Tim Hawes. I don't know if you know Dave Hawes, his brother in the Loved Ones. Tim
Spencer
Hawes will be
Hawes.
doing it. What's that?
Spencer Hawes.
Different Hawes. This is spelled like cause. But they have I went last year. It was a lot of fun. They have a music festival in Manayunk. Not this coming weekend, May 2nd through 4th. Bouncing Souls are headlining it, and Frank Turner, and Dave's band, The Mermaid, which Tim is in. It is called the Sing Us Home Festival. So I had a lot of time. It's at Venice Island in Manayunk, which is sort of just like right in the middle of Main Street. But it's a cool place to see a show, and it was a lot of fun last time. So if you want to see Tim and Dave and Bouncing Souls, who are a great live band, Frank Turner, it is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, May 2nd through 4th, Sing Us Home Festival. And there you go. And Tim will do the Process Imagine. I believe the first guy to do the Process Imagine. We had the band, right? We had the kid band. We had Eliza. We had Felicia Ricci do it. Yeah, I think this will be the first guy to do it. Tim Hawes. All right. Well, that's it. You got anything else?
I'm watching a little playoff basketball, watching a little NFL draft.
There you go.
Grinding
Grinding
good,
tape.
baby. I'm grinding tape.
Grinding tape.
I'm
Would
saying.
you take Shedeur Sanders with the 4th round pick?
Honestly, like I
Eagles?
kind of want Howie to do it. Why not, dude?
Dude, the chaos. You're
Why not?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, because you saw what happened last time they picked a quarterback when they shouldn't have. I mean, I guess they won a Super Bowl out of it, but
yeah.
if you weren't in Philly for it, the chaos of the Jalen Hurts pick, like
I think it will take at this point. Like this is not no one's gonna listen to this, but like I do think teams that think they have their quarterback are so scared of messing with them or creating a controversy in any way, even if that quarterback is like the 20th best quarterback in the league, whether it's like, I don't know, Baker or Goff or Geno, like those guys are fine, but they're not, Mahomes or Lamar or whatever. I think it's going to take a team like the Eagles, like the Ravens or the Chiefs or maybe the Rams to make the move and go like, okay, we're stable enough and competent enough where we can bring in Shedeur and let him play preseason football and see if like somebody trades something for him in the future.
Well, also, one thing, this is a huge difference between the NBA and the NFL because the NBA is so one player dependent.
Yeah,
they will take the chaos, whereas the NFL, they're like, like they just don't want fucking a circus, and they look at it and they're like, for a backup quarterback. I mean, it's why I know people. These guys are in different categories, but like Tebow was definitely good enough to be a backup quarterback somewhere. People didn't want it. Kaepernick was definitely good enough to be a backup quarterback somewhere, but people were like, eh.
Well, Kaepernick was good enough to start for a while.
Well, but at the end, people forget the end of Kaepernick's starting thing. He was benched in fucking in San Francisco for like he wasn't good at the end, but he certainly could have been a backup somewhere. Tebow certainly could. I just think NFL teams are like, they weigh circus versus
You got to be really good to make it worth.
really good,
And that's
Like
why
Aaron
like,
Rodgers.
That's why I'm not
level
signing
good.
Rodgers. That's
Right,
why
right.
it's like
It's
I don't
Aaron
think
Yeah,
he
Aaron
hasn't
Rodgers.
been good enough to earn the circus, I think.
Yeah. All right. We will talk to you next time. Which, by the way, this next pod will be. You don't care? Will be the last pod in this house,
Wow.
and then I'll be at my new house. And what's
House
the address,
retirement
Mike,
pod.
of the new house?
It's 63 Come On Down Lane.
Nope. Well, keep trying until you get it.
I'm pretty close. I'm circling it.
I got a lot of Ricky emails from people who's like, "Yo, I grew up in Mullica Hill or whatever." So a couple people who grew up in the same like fucking neighborhood, which is a little weird, but
Same house, maybe.
same house. Wow. Uh-oh. Did they disclose that?
Yes.
Did whoever lived in that house listen to the podcast?
I think they should have to.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you next time. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah, you know, lick face.